Page 58, Royal Procession. In this lesson, they're introducing you to some more rests. We've already had the quarter rest. Here we get the half rest and the whole rest. You're thinking, does a dotted half note get a rest too? And the answer is yes, you can have a dotted half rest. Any rest can be dotted because any note can be dotted. And it works the same way, counts exactly the same way. Let's look at this, because the whole rest and the half rest look exactly alike. They're boxes. There's no difference between them. The difference is where they are in the staff. Now they're both in that next to the top space, but the whole rest hangs below a line and the half rest sits on a line. How you remember which is up to you. I do it by thinking how heavy it is. I think a whole rest is heavier than a half. A whole is heavier than a half, to me. So the whole being heavier, it hangs below, and the half being lighter, it can sit up above. And that's how I remember which is which. Look on Royal Procession. In the first measure in the top staff, you see that box. That is a half rest because it's sitting on the line. It gets 2 counts in 4/4 time. It's the same as a half note, same number of beats. So you simply quiet for 2 counts in the right hand, then you play on beat 3. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. You get half rests on measure 6. In the left hand, you got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Then the last measure on page 58. It's measure 8. Yeah, measure 8 in the bottom staff. That box, or that measure, only has that box in it. That is a whole rest. That's, in this case, 4 counts. Now be careful. A whole rest actually has 2 duties, two things it's got to do. It is the same as a whole note in that it gets the same number of counts as a whole note would get. Or it can just represent a whole measure, regardless of how many beats are in it. So I could have 12 beats in a measure, and if I wanted to rest the whole measure, I could just put in a whole rest, and that covers it. Just keep that in mind. And this piece doesn't matter because the measure only has 4 counts in it, so the whole rest covers the whole measure, but it also covers the 4 counts. And this is the first piece, probably, I'd have to go back and look, and I'm too lazy to do that, so I ain't gonna. But this is the first piece where they're probably technically correct. You see, according to the time signature, every measure has to have a certain number of counts in it. And before, you didn't have the rests, so they would just leave the measure empty or something. They wouldn't account for all the beats. Now that you have the rests, they can put in the rest and count for all the beats, and they're doing that. Finally, every measure in both staves throughout the whole thing has 4 counts in it. You can see by the symbols, it all works out. And that's how it should be. There are exceptions to that. There are exceptions to everything. We'll get to those later. Don't confuse me. This is enough. So let's go through the system for learning a piece and see what we get. I look it over and I see it's a 1.5 pages long, more or less. Treble and bass clef, 4/4 time signature. I see a bunch of quarter notes and whole notes and half notes. Not too bad, I think. Now we got all these rests to deal with. Big deal. I'm going to take it one hand at a time because both hands are playing at the same time. Right hand, you're starting here. And until the hand moves, and it doesn't, you're here for the whole piece. You don't need any other finger numbers. Please read the notes. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Lowering the whole hand. Try and get them down at the same time. And the measure 5. 1, 2. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go to measure 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Get the idea? I'm going kind of fast because it shortens the video a little bit, but you take it nice and slow. Hesitate all you need to, it doesn't matter. Just make sure you got the notes and the counting worked out. And then we do the same for the left hand. Left hand, you got the C chord at the beginning, and all those notes are tied. Remember, in a chord, when they tie notes, they need one of those curved lines for every note, because you don't have to tie every note. But here it's tied for 2 measures. So you hold it down for 8 counts and do it again. This is fun. Measure 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, then nothing. Measure 9, just a G this time, and it's tied all the way across the line. You're going to hold it down for 4 measures. Oh, goody. Second line is almost the same. And then on measure 17, you're back like you were at the beginning. Sort of. Put the hands together, and then we're here in C position. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2. 1, 2. There. Measure 6. Look out. The left hand is not tied anymore. You lift it up. So measure 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2. Isn't this funny? Okay. They're taking turns. It's funny to me. Measure 9 here. 1, 2. The left hand's tied all the way across. So basically you're just playing the right hand. Let's go down to measure 21, the last line. You're here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. And then together. Okay, and that's sort of the notes and the rhythms. Again, I go a little fast. You work it out at your speed. And then go back through and make sure you have a steady beat throughout, no hesitations anywhere. And you should be able to play this without looking at the keyboard. You're not moving around. So you should be able to. See, if you start moving around, you got to look down to see where you're going. But other than moving around, you shouldn't need to look at the keyboard. And then I add the articulation. And really we don't have much here. That might have a few accents there in the second measure. You accent here. Accent, 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 accent. So put in the accents. You can read them as well as I can, I'm sure. And then the dynamics. F forte, well, Royal Procession, yeah, a lot of majesty, very loud. That makes the accented notes very loud, whatever you think that is. Kind of depends on how many other people are around and don't yell at you too much. You may have to adjust your loudness. On measure 9, you come down to moderately loud here, and that's the right hand. This... Actually, because of the way it's written, you can go ahead and play this the same. Because that you're going to hold down for 4 measures and it's going to die away. And you stay there until measure 17, go back up to loud. Speed, majestically. Think of people walking. Well, we're walking to this. Left, right, left, right, right, left. Right, in my opinion, is good enough speed. Now they've added pedal. So let's examine what's the pedal doing, why are we using it? Well, here it's a couple of things. One is this is very loud and majestic. We want the overtones. We want the extra sound. Secondly, we have all these repeated notes. It'd be nice to connect them. These chords, these repeated. We'd like to connect those. So we add pedal for that. Now we're not pedaling on measure 9 up through all of those 2 lines. We're not pedaling that. You don't need pedal for any of that. Now they're saying don't push the pedal down to beat 3 at the beginning. I disagree. This is loud. With an accent, it's very loud. And when it's going to be loud like this, I want to hear the overtones immediately. So I say push the pedal down with the note at the beginning. I want the overtones right now. the end, the pedal and everything comes up together. So in my opinion, I would pedal it at the beginning immediately for that. And the same thing on measure 17. I would pedal right at the beginning of that measure, right immediately. I see no reason to wait till the right hand comes in. That's just one way of doing it. Again, how you use the pedal, the articulation, the accents and all that, the dynamics and all that, the speed, how fast you, all of that is interpretation. How do you feel it? How do you interpret it? Remember I said natural accents about, well, put that in. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, feel those. Of course, they give you accents on some of these, so they're forcing it. That's okay. But like on measure 9, there's no accents here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and feel them. Don't force them, just feel them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because it will come out in the music. If you feel it, you will play it. And the listener will pick up on it. Let's play this together very slowly. Not too slow, it's boring. Just to check notes and rhythms. Not going to do any dynamics. I'll go ahead and pedal it like I suggested, which is close to what they have. I'll give us 4 counts. 1, 2, ready, go. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 4, 2, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4.